Good morning, Jason here from Bohemia Bees. We're here in the apiary. We're going to address a question that I get from a lot of beekeepers about packages and what should they look like after a couple weeks. What should you do if they don't look great? We've got 2 packaged colonies that we are working on trying to bring into our apiary. We are doing a test on them, but we inspected them yesterday and we'll look at them again today, and you'll see that there's just not a lot of bees in there. When they were shipped from the supplier, they did get caught in transit a little later than normal, and a lot of the bees died. You even see on this package here that there's some dead bees on the bottom, and that's normal for a package to have some dead bees on the bottom of it, but it was close to almost 50% dead. So, we contacted the supplier, and the supplier was very good. Barnyard Bees out of Georgia has a great stock of bees, and we want to try to incorporate them in our apiary, those genetics. So we have 2 colonies that we have from them, and we're going to try to show you what to do in case you have a colony that's not performing well, and what we mean by that. This is the replacement package for the bees that were sent. They got delayed about 2 weeks ago, a little over a week and a half ago, but these are just additional bees. There is no mated queen in here. We have a mated queen in this colony. They should be drawing out comb, although there's not a lot of bees. So let's take a look at the colony, and I'll explain why I do what I'm doing here and what I follow as a rule of thumb as it relates to bees and how well they're doing. So I've got my package here. We'll set them aside. And we'll just take a look at the colony first. So we're going to remove our hive components that we have. We've been feeding them, and you can see they took all the syrup that we had in there, which is great because that tells me that they're needing it. And you can see they're in the top of that actual cover trying to eat that syrup, which is really good. We're going to remove the cover. There's a few bees walking around on top, which is okay. But as you can quickly see, very quickly, there's a cluster of bees. It's not that big anymore. We only have in here 7 frames. The outside frames are undrawn. The next 2 are foundation, and they're not drawing it out very quickly. Okay, you can see a small cluster of bees on there. They've got a small amount of foundation that they've drawn out and put some of the syrup into it. So they're building on some resources, which is fine. My cluster is in the middle here. And they have drawn out some comb, and I'm going to be very careful because this is new comb. And you can see they've drawn it out on this. And they've built out a small area. And I don't see my queen on that side, and I don't see her on this side. She may be on the next piece. When you're dealing with drawn comb, you want to be very careful not to shake it so that it doesn't break off. What I'm looking for in this colony are eggs in the cells, and I see a few eggs down the bottom, so that means my queen is laying and she's in a good state. But this is 50% bee coverage. Let's talk about that actually. A lot of people ask me, what do you look for in a strong colony? Well, 50% bee coverage on the frames. This is drawn comb. This is about 75 to 80% coverage of bees on the frames on both sides. You can see that they cover the frame, or they cover the comb by more than 50%. So that cluster of bees is strong. There's eggs in there and there's resources in there. It's just still too small to actually build up quick enough. So we're going to take and put that back in exactly how it was. And we're going to pull the next frame out. And this frame had the queen on it. And we're looking for her. Hopefully she's on here. Again, it's another small cluster of bees. And I see a marked queen right here at the top. That's 100% coverage of bees on the frame. I don't need my queen cage anymore. I can get that out of there. but still not a lot of bees. There's only probably about maybe 1.5 pounds to 2 pounds of bees in this entire colony. They're using all their resources just to draw comb in order to survive, just to make sure that she has a place to lay. It's literally maybe a frame's worth of bees. If I took all 3 of these frames out and held it up, the cluster would be maybe 1.5 pounds with a queen. You have 2 things in the colony, though, that are going in your favor, which is you've got some drawn comb, you have some resources, and you have a laying queen. So really 3 things. But you have some things that are going in your favor. The frustration, the concern that a new beekeeper would have is this is not fast enough, and that's fine. Bees will go at the pace that they go, but there's just not a lot of bees to help build this colony up stronger. As they are now building out that comb, one of the things that I am going to do is continue to give them frames to build the comb out on, because I want them to draw the comb out. But I also want to install this package of bees. And this package of bees will give them more bees in the colony to help build out. I'm pushing all my frames to the side because I want to be able to introduce these bees to this queen in a manner in which they will be okay with. The way we're going to do that is we're going to take the package, is we're going to install it slowly, not abruptly. We're not going to dump bees in. We're going to take our package of bees, and we got this from the same supplier. They replaced the colony that was primarily dead. And I'm just grabbing my can here of syrup. It feels fairly light, which means they probably have been in transit for a while. Okay. Actually, it's not that bad. Still about half full. And I'm going to take this box of bees and I'm going to place it right in the colony. Okay? This will allow them to slowly introduce themselves to the bees that are in the colony already, that have established themselves. Allow them to, the queen's pheromones to proliferate to the bees that are in there, so they'll be more likely to accept her. And they're actually very much queenless, because in shipment they didn't have a queen attached in a cage hanging inside the box. So again, when you're looking at your colony, the things you look for is, do they have resources, right? Are they storing nectar and pollen? Do they have a queen that's laying? And what's the volume of bees? If your volume of bees are 50% coverage or more on the combs, then you have a strong colony. This colony was not a weak colony, it was just a small colony. And I'm trying to bolster this colony up because we're going into the nectar flow, and it's a good opportunity to get a lot of bees out foraging to bring in resources for this colony to get a good chance to overwinter. So that's why I'm putting in these additional bees from the supplier to help bolster them. Their numbers were already low within the package that was shipped, because again, a lot of them passed or died because in transit. These are more bees to add to that, but I'm going to slowly introduce them to the colony. The last thing I'll mention is that bees are all about dates and numbers, right? So dates and numbers are a way you look at your colony to determine what you're going to have. All these bees you see crawling on those combs, and all the bees you see inside of that box are at least 21 days old, right? They had to take 21 days from the egg for them to emerge out as a worker. You know, drones are different, queens are different, but the worker bees, the core of the colony, they have to be at least 21 days old. And chances are, majority of these bees are not new bees. They are young bees. They are middle-aged bees. They're at that age where they're at 12 to 12 days from the day old that they're from the day that they're born, day 1, to the day that they start producing wax, day 12, for example. Or the day prior to that, when they're being nurse bees and taking care of the combs, they haven't even reached the foraging stage yet. Some of them probably are old enough to be foragers, but that's the point, is that in 45 days, all of these bees will be dead and they'll have to be new bees. So if the queen is not laying today, a replacement colony for those bees that are going to die within the 45-day window, then they won't have a colony. They will collapse. They will die. So when you go out and look at your colony as a new bee, you want to look at things like bee volume, resources, a queen right colony, or eggs. So you can see that there's going to be another colony that's going to be replaced and be growing as it continues on. If you have any questions, we like to do these videos. This is kind of a unique one. We like to do these videos to show everyone what we do in the apiary, all the different things that we test, all the questions we try to answer, the things we try to learn about every single day. We're in no way experts, but we are trying to learn, and we're trying to share our knowledge when we learn new things about the bees, because bees are always teaching us. But if you like what you see on the channel, make sure you subscribe to the channel. It's very helpful for us to continue to spread that information on the things we're doing here on the eastern shore of Maryland, and also to learn about the bees. So we're very, very passionate about the bees, and as we always say, you know, beekeeping here at the Bohemia Apiary is more than a hobby. It's an obsession. Thanks for watching, everyone.